Everybody has their own opinion on who the best rapper of all time is. Well, we've tried to look as subjectively on it as possible. Here's our top 10 best rappers of all time. Starting off, we got Anthony Cruz, better known by his stage name AZ. He's an American rapper born in Brooklyn, New York, and he's known for being a long-time and frequent music partner of Nas. AZ was considered the top 1 most underrated rapper of all time by About.com. He has released multiple albums, with his debut album Do or Die to be considered a classic. Next up, we got a more recognizable name, Rakim. Rakim is widely considered as a hip-hop pioneer. His real name is William Michael Griffin Jr., and he's regarded as one of the most influential and most skilled MCs of all time. As skilled as he was as a solo artist, he was even better with Eric B, and the two created a duo called Eric B and Rakim. Their album Paid in Full was named the greatest hip-hop album of all time by MTV in 2006, while Rakim himself was rated as the 4th best MC of all time. Unknown to some, Mos Def has definitely proven himself to be one of the greatest rappers of all time, blending poetry and rhythm and making it sound heaven sent. Mos Def is a gift hip-hop doesn't take for granted. Yasin Bey is best known as a rapper, but he's also an actor and activist. He subsequently formed the duo Black Star alongside fellow Brooklyn-based rapper Talib Kweli. The two released their debut album in 1998 called Mos Def and Talib Kweli Are Black Star, and it went on to be a huge success for him. Widely known for being a part of the duo Outkast alongside Big Boi, Andre 3000 has multiple times proven himself worthy of the title one of the greatest rappers of all time. Andre brings a special sound in hip-hop as he has a tendency to stay offbeat, which isn't normal in hip-hop. This is shown in his song Aquemini. Street legend and unarguably a GOAT, Big L got widely famous in the hip-hop world when his debut album Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous came out. Big L managed to deliver vivid pictures of the street life, which many was amazed by. Emerging from Harlem, New York in the 90s, Coleman became well known amongst underground hip-hop fans for his freestyling ability and was eventually signed to Columbia Records. On January 15, 1999, Coleman was shot 9 times and killed by an unknown assailant in a drive-by shooting. Number 5 on the list is Kung Fu Kenny, aka Kendrick Lamar. He's one of the few rappers who has gained both commercial and critical success. Kendrick Lamar is not only a rapper, he's also a songwriter and an actor. He was raised in Compton, California, and Lamar embarked on his musical career as a teenager under the stage name K-Dot. He managed to release a mixtape which got the attention of TDE, Top Dog Entertainment, which later on signed him. He began to gain recognition in 2010 after his first retail release, Overly Dedicated. The following year, he independently released his first studio album, Section 80, which included his debut single, High Power. By the time Section 80 was released, he had gained a lot of social recognition, and he had collaborated with several prominent hip-hop artists, including The Game, Busta Rhymes, and Snoop Dogg. Moving on to number 4 on the list, Eminem. Eminem is probably one of the most famous rappers of all time. He was the first white man to gain fame and success in a genre dominated by Afro-Americans. He has had 10 number 1 albums on the Billboard 200 and 5 number 1 singles on the Billboard Hot 100. Eminem has sold more than 220 million records globally, which makes him amongst the world's best-selling artists of any time. He's consistently cited as one of the greatest and most influential artists in any genre. He's the only artist to have 8 albums consecutively debut at number 1 at the Billboard 200. Moving on to number 3 on the list, Tupac Amaru Shakur. He was born in Lizaine Parish, Crooks on June 16, 1971. He was known by his stage names Tupac and Machiavelli. He was an American rapper and actor, and was by many considered the best rapper of all time, and still is. Tupac was born in the Harlem neighborhood of New York City, but relocated to Los Angeles in 1988. When he released his debut album Tupacalypse Now in 1991, he became a central figure in West Coast hip-hop. Tupac introduced social issues in the genre at a time when gangsta rap was dominant in the mainstream. Tupac gained even more success with the releasing of 2 albums, Strictly for My Niggas 1993 and Me Against the World 1995. Shakur's success didn't last long. On September 7, 1996, Shakur was shot by an unknown assailant in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. He died 6 days later. His double-disc album All Eyes on Me was released under a month after his death, and it became one of the best-selling albums in the United States. Shakur also became one of the best-selling music artists of all time, amassing over 75 million estimated global sales. Moving on to number 2 on the list, Christopher George Latour Wallace. Known professionally as the Notorious Big, Biggie Smalls, or simply Biggie. He was an American rapper, and like Tupac, he's considered by many as one of the best rappers of all time. When he released his debut album Ready to Die in 1994, he became a central figure in East Coast hip-hop. The following year, Wallace led Junior Mafia to chart success, a prodigy group composed of his childhood friends. In 1996, while recording his second album, Wallace was heavily involved in the growing of East Coast-West Coast hip-hop feud. On March 9, 1997, Wallace was killed by an unknown assailant in a drive-by shooting in Los Angeles. His double-disc album Life After Death was released 16 days later. It became number 1 on the US album chart and was certified diamond in 2000. Wallace was famous for his loosey, easy flow and storytelling abilities, which revolved around violence and hardship. He's also noted for sometimes changing his pitch on songs. 3 more albums has been released since his death, and he has certified sales of over 17 million units in the United States alone, including 13.4 million albums. Moving on to number 1 on the list, and the best rapper of all time, Nasir bin Oludare Jones, also known as Nas or Nasty Nas. Nas was born September 14, 1973, and he's the son of Oludare. Nas has released 8 consecutive platinum and multi-platinum albums, and has sold over 25 million records worldwide. And not only that, he's also an entrepreneur. He has his own record label and he owns a Fila sneaker store. His musical career began in 1991 as a featured artist on Main Source Live at Barbecue. His debut album Illmatic 1994 received universal acclaim from both critics and the hip-hop community. Illmatic is also frequently ranked as one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. Nas's follow-up, It Was Written, made number 1 on the Billboard 200, and it stayed up there for 4 consecutive weeks. Later on, it went double platinum in only 2 months, and made Nas internationally known. From 2001 to 2005, Nas was involved in a highly publicized feud with Jay-Z, popularized by the diss track Either. Nas signed to Def Jam in 2006, and in 2010 he released The Distant Relatives. Distant Relatives was a collaboration album with Damon Marley, Bob Marley's son. Nas donated all his royalties to charities active in Africa. And as I said before, Nas is often named as one of the greatest hip-hop artists of all time. MTV ranked him at number 5 on their list of the greatest MCs of all time. In 2012, The Source ranked him number 2 on their list of top 50 lyricists of all time.